We nod at the statue and turn back. Hey everyone, and welcome back to In Stars in Time, where last time we did something kind of really fucked up. When we use that item, I will give a content warning before using the item, and I'll tell you where to skip ahead to. Don't worry, I'm not gonna just use it without warning. It is definitely very fucked up. Today, we're gonna be starting our second family loop, at last. But first, before we do that, I kinda wanna go talk to Loop again. Hi Loop, sorry, I've been causing you a lot of distress lately, haven't I? Here again? You really like to talk to me, huh, Stardust? It's been more than 15 times already. I'm so sorry for bothering you. I forgive you, Stardust. But, maybe you should get something as a reward, don't you think? First coming to talk to me so often. A secret tutorial. Maybe you'll know about it already, though. So, there's an item you can give to your party if you talk to them in Dormont. Did you know that? Is there? How did you not find it already? You should explore Dormont a bit more, Stardust. There's a flower you can get and give it to your party. Is the tutorial about how I can give you that flower too? What? No, gross. I don't want it. I don't want any of your stuff. But I am a bit of a special case still, and so there's a couple items you can show me if you wanted. Is that so? I'm too lazy to open new choices for you in our conversations, though. So just stand kind of close to the tree and just interact with your souvenirs. Maybe you'll have something to say about it. So in simpler terms, if you use a souvenir near me, I might react to it. Anyway, how can I help you? Okay, so we got that tutorial. There's something you can do with that. We're gonna hold off though. No, I meant that went too far in the menu. Never mind actually, Loop. See you later, Stardust. But yeah, Loop, I already found the flower. I've given it to like all of my party members, all of my family members. I've already done that. Would you like me to show you the flower even though you said no? I can show you the flower even though you said no. I'm gonna show you the flower even though you said no. Hi, can I have a flower? Hello! Aren't you one of the saviors traveling? Yes. Hi, thank you for the flower. You have a wonderful day. Alright, Loop, let's see if you want the dang flower. Cause like, why would you bring up the flower if you didn't actually want to see the flower? No, I went too close. Hang on, let's back up. Okay, I assume this is going to be close enough. Now then, Loop, do you want to see the flower? We wave the flower towards Loop. A flower? I don't want any of your stuff, Stardust. Get that out of here. This is where our gentle giving heart gets us. Yeah, they just don't appreciate us. Alright, let's get started on the family loop for real. First off, let's talk with Mirabelle. Mirabelle is here sitting on a bench and looking at papers. Hi, Seafried. Do you need anything? Well, which one will you choose? Sorry? We put in her pile of papers. What? What? How? What do you know? Answer me! She gets her hand on her rapier. You're choosing someone for something, right? It seems important. Maybe I can help? I suppose you must have more experience than I do. All right, I would like your help, if you'll give it. Experience. We laugh silently. Sure. Thank you, Seafried. But, this might take some time. So, make sure you have time? I have time now. Oh, okay. Okay, how to do this? Sit down next to me, maybe? Wow! Wow, you're here again! You don't really have to go through this whole thing again. You can just zone through it and skip it completely if you'd like. You'll even still get their cool skill. But if you do, the skill will be a tiny bit less useful. Your choice. No, we're not zoning out for this. I want to help Mirabelle. We sit down. Mirabelle looks at us without saying a word. So what are those papers really? Oh, bonding proposals? We try and act surprised. No wait, that's not exactly it, please stop looking at me! Also, you may notice you can still fast forward through the dialogue, even if you don't zone out to skip the entire scene. You still have to make choices when you do it this way, but you will get the full power ability, even if you zone out through it after accepting the whole event rather than skipping through it. It's just if you take Loop's offer to skip the entire event that you get the weaker skill. It's more like, dating? Dating profiles. I'm not thinking about being bonded yet. We try and act confused. Alright, well, before all this started with the king, I decided I wanted to try to date someone. And so I asked a dating company and they gave me a bunch of folders of people that I could meet and that I could date. But I haven't gone through it yet. So I figured I could at least get that done today and look through all of them and make a list of people I could see myself dating. And I suppose I need help. I'm choosing someone I could spend the rest of my life with, so I'd appreciate another pair of eyes. Or, just the one eye, as long as it's not my two eyes looking at this. And also I need a distraction from tomorrow very badly, so I figured I'd replace my anxiety about our possible defeat with, this. We chuckled to ourselves. What a very Mirabelle thing to do. Hey, it's a good strategy. It's a genuinely good strategy for coping with anxiety disorders. Distract yourself with a far more manageable anxiety. If you're gonna be anxious anyway, at least try to control, if you can, try to control which one you're anxious about. It's not always easy, but it can work. Let's have a look then. Alright, I have a few profiles right here. She removes an immense folder out of her dress pocket. We always did wonder what she carried in her pockets. Here's a few of them. So, you can go first, and tell me what you think, and I'll go after. Tell me what you think about him. She shows us the file of a strong, buff-looking man. Isabel looks nicer, we think. Right, I picked the... Okay. Meh. Yes, glad we agree. We laugh. Next, do you have someone more feminine looking? She looks through her files. How about her? She shows us the profile of a gentle-looking lady. Shrug. She shrugs back. Next, what kind of person are you into then? Oh, I don't have a type. I like all kinds of people equally. This is fun with the context of what we know. But if you had to choose? Someone nice? We nod. And someone pretty? We nod a beat later. And someone who likes me? We don't nod. Mira. No, wait, let me think a bit more. I want someone who... She thinks for an awfully long time. Well, what about you then? What kind of person are you into, Siegfried? We act like we're thinking for a little bit and then answer. What, are you just gonna copy my answers? No! Okay, fine. You got me, Siegfried. I'm not interested in that dating stuff. So then why worry about it? You know, Siegfried, the change belief is very, very important to me. It's all around changing. Changing with a capital C. Bettering yourself. Becoming a better, different person. And one of the ways to change is to try new things, you know? That's part of the reason the house offers so many different classes. And so I'm trying. I'm trying new things. And some are fun and fulfilling and easy, but you can't just go and only try new easy things, can you? Sometimes I have to try scary new things. Things that make me uncomfortable. Things I don't want to do at all. Like dating. Yes, like dating. But you know, romantic love is supposed to be one of the biggest ways to change. It's supposed to change you to bring you new experiences and so I have to do it, right? To be a good housemaid, and I have to do it. I have to date, I have to love someone in a romantic way, I have to do things with them. I have to bond with them, I have to sleep with them, I have to have children with them, I have to love them in this very specific way, and you don't want to. And I don't want to. I don't want to do it, Siegfried, not at all. Dating, the idea of being in a romantic relationship, of being with someone like that, I hate thinking about it. I hate the idea of it. I really do. The idea of it alone is just awful for me to think about. I can't love someone like that. And the way I should love them. It never happened, and I don't think it ever will. And I need this to change, don't I? Alright. Well, why do you need a change? Because I have to, Siegfried! I'm a housemaiden, and I love it. I love helping people, getting to know them. I love learning new things. I love it all, but I have to change in that way, too. I wish I could just not do it. Not be with someone that way. But Siegfried, there's such a pressure to force us to do that. And not only that, there's such intense pressure to force us to change. We have yearly festivals all around showing yourself as a new person, for crab's sake. Most housemaidens have completely changed at least once, and I haven't. Isabel isn't even a housemaid, and he's changed. And I haven't. And I don't want to change. I'm happy with who I am. I'm comfortable with who I am. I'm comfortable with the idea of not being with anyone. I'm comfortable with the idea of staying the same forever. But we have to change and bring new things into our lives and change clothes and hairstyles and even part of our personalities to appeal to a deity that I don't know if they understand that sometimes I just like to stay the same. Or maybe they do. Maybe that's why they haven't. And now I have a list of people that I can meet so that I can fall in love with them, which I can't do. Do things with them, which I will never, ever want to do. Also, I can change, and it makes me feel like a mistake. That I must be broken for not being able to want these things, because everyone else can. We never told anyone this before. We wonder what made us tell her at that moment. Well, I don't know about the romantic part. But I don't want to do things with people either. Huh? Why not? It's weird, right? Yes. Mirabelle takes hold of our hands. We don't react. Yeah! It's just weird and gross. It's awful. I don't want it at all. Oh, Siegfried, you mean it? You really mean it. You understand. Yeah, of course. What a relief to have someone who understands this, at least. But it doesn't fix anything. I need a change. And dating? It's part of it, so... Mirabelle sighs. Siegfried, I know you don't follow the change belief, but do you have something like this? Something that brings you joy and community and faith. But some other parts, you don't know how to follow. Some other parts you don't know what to do with. Some other parts just bring you grief. Something that brings us both joy and grief? We think about the stars. It's more complicated than that for me, but yeah, I have something like that. So you do too. How do you deal with it then? We don't. We just try not to think about things that bother me in general. Avoidance, huh? That feels a little too cowardly for me. I mean, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say... We smile. We were wrong the first time we talked to her. Instead of telling her to change by not changing, couldn't she instead change the belief, instead of the belief changing her? Why should she be the one to do the work? Why couldn't the world change for her instead? We could tell her that. But changing the script is scary. I don't know anything about your belief, but you could always game the system, right? Game the system? Change things by deciding not to change. If everyone changes in that way, then you'll change by not changing in that way. There's more than one way to become a better person, right? Changing by deciding not to change. Seafreen, that's not how it works. But no one needs to know. Change myself by deciding not to change. Sounds challenging and fun to me. Is it fun, we wonder? It does. It does sound challenging and fun. Mirabelle smiles at us brightly. We smile back. Thank you, Seafreen. Thank you for talking with me. Oh, look at the time. You probably had other things to do, didn't you? Go, don't let me keep you. I need to be alone for a little bit. I have a lot to think about. I'll see you later, okay? And we learn Holy Care Shield again. We nod to Mirabelle. We wave goodbye. It really is still such a good scene. I'm sad Seafreen didn't... I guess it would be really hard to explain, but Seafreen didn't bring up our conversation with the Change God themselves. I think the Change God does understand Mirabelle. There's nothing wrong with you. Sometimes your beliefs, your faith can bring so many good things to you, but they can still be hurtful. I probably mentioned this before last time we did this, but I'm so glad this game tries to tackle religious trauma without getting into like the really fucked up parts of religious trauma. It's still like traumatizing for her, for sure. I don't want to downplay it, but like I'm glad that it didn't get into like the really, really ugly ways that religion can be harmful to people, while also like very explicitly acknowledging all the good that it does bring to Mirabelle. Not for everyone. It's certainly not for everyone. Religion's not for me. I'm agnostic atheist. I understand the power of spirituality, just on a psychological level, but it's just not for me. Next up, Odile. Odile is here looking at what the shop has to offer. Odile! Oh, Seafreen. You look rested? Glad to see you this laid back on the day before the end of the world. Anyway, how can I help you? Can I help you with anything? Do I need help with anything? Are you this bored, Seafreen? Odile seems to realize we're genuinely asking. Well... I'm looking for a certain type of book. Type of book? Not a specific book? No, not a specific book. It's a type of book called a family tale. Have you heard of those? Oh, I overheard that the Boulangerie has one of those. What? Huh? Really? We wait a bit for her to calm down. We look at her repeat the same words over and over. Seafreen, will you come with me to ask them if I can borrow it? It might take some time, so make sure you have time to help me. Yeah, I have time now. Thank you. Let's go then. Zone out? No. We and Odile are now hanging out. We should head to the Boulangerie. Alright, last time I believe we did speak to all of our family members. This time we're gonna hightail it a little bit. Hey there? Hello. We've heard you may have a family tale. A family tale? Of a family called Paparazzi. If you'd be okay with it, I'd like to borrow it for a little bit. Oh, the one I borrowed from my girl before the house froze. I'm not a very good writer, so I figured reading another one would give me some inspiration for stories to tell my little girl. Do you have it still? I... do not. What? Do you know Antoine, maybe? He lives at the east of town in the house with no flowers, asked if he could borrow it. They knew the Paparazzi family, you see. I couldn't really refuse. The Paparazzi family died only a few years back, after all. Do you know if he still has it now? I don't see why they wouldn't. I have a sudden bad feeling about this. The house to the east of the village with no flowers, huh? Looks like we should go pay them a visit. Now we know who actually has the book. But let's play along. Alright, so let's go meet up with Antoine. Hello there, Antoine. Oh, hello. Antoine, is it? That sure is me. And you're two of the saviors, aren't you? Thank you for all you're doing. Best of luck for tomorrow. Thank you. We had a favor to ask. Could we borrow the family tale you possess? For an hour, maybe. Oh, the Paparazzi family tale. I know this means a lot to you, so... No, that's not the problem. I'd be happy to lend it to you. But, well... I think one of the kids next door stole it from me? This would have been so much faster if we asked the daughter beforehand. What? Oh, I'm not saying they're bad kids. They're very nice kids. Very nice. They just, well, you know the three kids outside. A few weeks ago, they passed by to help me cook some things, and, well, the book is gone now. So, sounds like we should talk to those kids. Sorry, Odile. We'll get your book, I promise. We'll get that book, Odile. Let's just go, alright? Alright. Kids, I need your book. Kids? The middle kid with the small hat looks at us from the rock throne. Adults? What do you want? Steven, you handle this. Why me? You're closer to being a kid than I am. Good luck. Okay. Which one of you stole a family tale? Are you saying we're thieves? Thiefes? Thieves, Manon. Are you saying we're thieves? My associate misspoke. What they meant was... Do you know about family tales? Yeah? What kind of adult doesn't know about family tales? Are you stupid? Manon, you can't ask adults if they're stupid. Can't I? Look at him. They're short, and their hair looks unbrushed. Their hat looks unbrushed. And they look like they haven't slept in weeks. Now that's not an exaggeration, probably. And that hat is definitely looks stupid and not cool. Steven, the kid is destroying you. Do something. Anyway, do you know about a Paparazzi family tale? Ah! Manon, I think he's asking about... Shut up. I got this. The middle kid looks at us as disdainfully as they can. Which is a lot. What if we do? We'd like to borrow it. Trade. A trade! We have something you do not. Knowledge. Offer us something in exchange. Well, last time we didn't have a flower. But I kinda wanna see the pun. A pun? It better be the best pun I've ever heard. How do you keep a wizard in suspense? The kid leans a little bit towards us, interested. I don't know. How? I'll tell you tomorrow. What? That's not the deal. Tell me... The kid's eyes grow wide, speechless. Manon? The wizard-looking adult, he said... They said you're a wizard, Manon. Wow. I know you just said it because it's part of the joke, and I know I'm not a real wizard because wizards aren't real. But I felt something just now. I'll do whatever you ask. We only need the book. Oh yeah! Okay, so Manon doesn't have the book anymore. What? Listen, Charlene was being really annoying about wanting it, so I gave it to her so she'd stop crying, okay? Who's Charlene? Charlene Choquette? The Boulanger's daughter. The what? We weren't going to laugh, but looking at Odile's face makes us snort. Heh, look at the old lady's face. See, Freen? We look at her smiling. We are going. We nod and follow. Bye, adults. Let's play again soon. Very sweet. That was a good joke. That was a really wholesome joke, Seafreen. Good thinking with that one. Alright then, back to the daughter. Let's get that book. Hi. Hello. What? Hey. Please do not scare my daughter, madam. We get in front of Odile and smile at the girl. Hi. Hi? We've heard you got a cool book. A book? Oh, yes! From Manon. Manon is so nice. She gave me the book. The book with the nice stories. Dad was reading it and now it's mine and I can read it all by myself. That's boring. So I want another book, Papa. Wait, which book are you talking about, Charlene? This one! She shows us all a book with Paparazz Family Tale written across it. I'm so sorry. It's fine. We got the Paparazz Family Tale. Finally. We go back to the middle of the woods. I can't believe this took this long, but finally. Odile looks at the closed family tale book intently. Aren't you gonna read it? They said I could keep it until I have to leave Dormont, so I have time, but we let her look at it for a little longer. Say the line, Seafreen. Is it related to your research? Sorry, what? The book, is it related to your research? Well, I suppose I've kept it secret long enough. Don't tell Isabel, alright? There is no research. I'm not researching anything. We try and act surprised. Sorry for not saying anything. Isabel said I must be researching something since I was a traveler here in Belgard, and I felt easier to not say anything. So then, why did I leave Kabue? Travel for years, all to find myself in Vogard, if not for some intellectual pursuits? Well, I'm actually here in Vogard to find out more about myself. I suppose it's not very apparent to you, but my mother was Vogardian. I've lived my whole life in Kabue. My father was Kabuan and my mother Vogardian. I have no idea how they met, he never told me, but all I know is that she never wanted a child. She left very early in my childhood and I never saw her again. Good riddance, if you ask me. But she left and didn't leave anything behind. No pictures, no letter, no family history. But what does it matter, right? My father was a good man and Kabue was my home. I used to think I didn't need to know about my history, about Vogard. But still, a part of me was curious. And one day, a few years ago, a Vogardian merchant showed me her wares. And this book that she wouldn't let go of. A book of tales written by her whole family. A family tale. And she explained family tales to me. Generations of Vogardian parents writing stories for their children and writing them down in a book. So you'd end up with stories written by an entire lineage. And she was explaining the way the book was written. The rules of this particular way of telling stories. How friendly families shared their stories with each other. And how it had been done for generations. How it brought her closer to her family, her ancestors, her culture. And while she was explaining all this to me, she suddenly stopped. And I was surprised to find out she stopped because I was crying. I didn't even realize it. Because I wanted this. This connection that she had to a history that was also supposed to be mine. But it was stolen from me because my mother left. And I'd never have a link to this culture, ever. Unless I went there. So this is why... So I traveled to Vogard. And, well, the king took over shortly after I arrived, which did make things more difficult. But during my travels with you all, I got to know many Vogardians and see many Vogardian cities. I got to learn more about the country, its culture, its faith, its people. And I look and I learn and... This is the country my mother came from. It's half of me, but still... Even now that I'm here in Vogard, I feel no connection to it whatsoever. I don't recognize myself here. Isn't that strange? Half of me should be from here, isn't it? Shouldn't I see something of myself here in the place that my mother came from? Shouldn't I be like looking in a mirror? Like a revelation. Shouldn't I see how Vogardian people act, how they think, and be able to say, ah, so this is why I'm like this? Shouldn't I be able to call this place mine? But I can't. And it feels awful, like my roots have been cut off without my consent. Like my mother stole it from me. Like I really don't belong anywhere. But that's why I'm here still, to know as much as I can about this country. And in the meantime, find out if it'll make me find out more about myself. And I did find out more about myself during this journey, so I'm glad. It's an interesting question, is it not? How much do you carry of your country, of a culture that should have been yours but wasn't? It may not seem so to you, but to Kabue, my features are foreign. Just small things. My hair being slightly too thick, my brows too thin. Enough for me to look different here. I am other. So, what about Vogardians? Would they see me as one of theirs? Would I find myself in them? After coming here, I found out that no, of course not. Why would I? I've never been here before this journey. But at the same time, I'm not the only one who is other. In fact, Vogard is filled with people who also come from other lands. Vogard welcomes people from all over the world, after all. So, even if I did not find someone like me, I have found Vogard to be full of people that are similar to me. And I'm very grateful for that. Coming to a country she has no ties to, but wanting to create those ties herself. How brave. It almost feels revolutionary to us. We're jealous. What about you, Seafreen? Are you finding out more about yourself in Vogard? What do you mean? Well, you didn't grow up in Vogard either, right? Do you have roots here? Or were you just passing through? Ha! My apologies. Forget I asked. I didn't say anything. You didn't need to. Your face said it all. Just because I'm telling you personal facts about myself doesn't mean you need to tell me anything in return. It was wrong of me to ask. We can forget about it. She goes back to looking at the Family Tales cover. What pushed us to tell her about our home the first time? We don't want to tell her, not anymore. It's ours. It doesn't need to be shared, but we have to follow the script still. I don't remember much about where I'm from. Odile turns to look at us. Huh. Were you too small when you left, or was it because there was nothing worth remembering? Everything was worth remembering. Neither. But I can relate to you. Trying to find pieces of yourself wherever you can. Trying to find where you belong. Trying to find how your roots may have shaped you. Which parts of you created and which parts already were. We nod. But you know you're not only made of where you're from, right? If that was the case, everyone in Kabue would be the exact same, and everyone in Vogard would be the exact same. Where you're from matters, yes, but it's not the only thing that makes you you. That's what I realized during this journey, Seafreen. I'm Kabuan and Vogardian in ways I do and don't realize. But I am also myself. One might say that it's more important than being Kabuan and Vogardian, wouldn't you agree? I do. Heh. Heh, that's interesting. I feel so much lighter now. Because you found a family tale? Yes, and also because we talked, Seafreen. Thank you for listening to me, Seafreen. We nod and smile. Now get out of here. I have a family tale to read before we all meet for our sleepover. We'll talk later. Go have fun. Odile smiles at us mischievously. Our researcher learned the skill Craft Break Alpha again. We get up and leave. So I talked last time we did this about how, while I don't have her experience, I'm not mixed race, I'm Pacific Northwest, US American white. I do have, like, at least some... I feel like I can relate in some way, even if it's kind of indirect and abstract, and it's probably something that a lot of people can relate with. Just, if you don't really know much about your family's history, your ancestors, your culture, it can be a little bit hard. It can feel a little bit like you're just a little lost, not really sure who you are. And Odile's very, very right that, like, the most important thing is you. Where you're from has an influence. Where you were raised absolutely has an influence, a major one, but you're still you. Normally, I would keep this the hell away from my other playthroughs, but it actually ended up being relevant. Recently, the expansion Dawn Trail for Final Fantasy XIV came out, and it's about these same exact questions, and it's really good. I don't want to get too much into details about it, just because I don't want to spoil it, but Dawn Trail talks a lot. Like, I would say the primary focus is on culture, how it's formed by individual people and their circumstances. What parts of it are just from the decisions you make, that your society makes, and what parts of it are from the circumstances you're in. How culture is something to be celebrated and embraced, but sometimes culture is to be... Sometimes there may be an issue within your own culture and it's worth changing, and that's something that you can't enforce from the outside. That would be wrong, but you can absolutely recognize and want to make changes to your own culture when there are issues. And that's actually helped to ease a lot of my, like, anxieties about it. I talked before about how I hate that I was born and raised in the US, where my ancestors were colonialists who were involved in the great, not in, like, the qualitative, but in the quantitative sense, like, colonialist project that fucked up so much of the Americas, and still dealing with those consequences today. And like it or not, yeah, no, this is the culture I was raised in. Even if I don't know much about my family's ancestry, I'm starting to learn a little bit more. I was able to track down some information. The fact is, no, I was born and raised in the US. This is my culture. And I'm sure if I wasn't so distressed by the negatives, I would find plenty to like about it. But just because there are negatives doesn't mean I have to reject it, and I can work to make changes to my own culture. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just an ongoing thing to think about. And again, like I said before, this is a personal thing that I deal with. But since this is the game that I connect with in a very personal way, in many ways that we haven't even begun to get to yet, it felt worth at least talking. It feels worth at least talking about those personal connections when they come up. Game's good. Game's real good. Next time on In Stars in Time, we're going to hang out with Bonnie, and then we're going to hang out with Isabelle, and then we will be all set up for our second family loop. I do find it interesting how Seafreen has been a lot more closed off in this one. They're not nearly as willing to share information about themselves, and yet they do anyway because they're scared of deviating from the script. Scared of, I suppose, what might change if things go differently. The previous family loop, while it ended in tragedy, he ended up so much closer to his family members. And I guess he doesn't want to risk damaging that. It's understandable, but he's becoming less emotionally vulnerable as a result, and I fear that might have some unintended negative side effects on his mental health. Not that this whole journey hasn't already been unfortunate negative side effect on his mental health so far. Whew, wow, he's not doing great. Next time we finish up the setup for the family loop and then head back into the house. See everyone next time for that.